has seen a massive infrastructural development. Somebody will say, of course, I must acknowledge that there are challenges in the economy. But if you look at what our NDC folks did yesterday, and the fact that it's the same people who are today asking for power, the question is whether, having failed yesterday, they have any new idea to do better. For me, the obvious answer is that no. Therefore, it is important to give MPP the chance to continue so that the areas that we got wrong, we can have an opportunity to improve. Never in the history of this country have we ever had a party coming into office and reducing electricity tariffs. Never. But under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, electricity tariffs were reduced. Never have we ever experienced that support. So it may be expensive to pay electricity, but it is cheaper in relative terms. Because, and we know that our respected colleague, Honorable Kweku Kwate, very hard-working member of parliament, during Kufuor's time, he was a spokesperson on the economy. He was a government spokesperson. We came to parliament. He was a member of the finance committee, just like my good self. And when we won power, he was a deputy minister of finance. He has appeared on many media platforms speaking for government on issues of economy, and currently our finance committee chair. Now, finance is a subset of the economy. Finance is part of the economy. So we felt that with this new committee coming up, it is important to, as it were, elevate our respected colleague to this new committee to chair the economy committee so that he can take the fight to the NDC. Because so far they claim they have answers to the economic challenges. But we know that our friend, our brother, our respected colleague who has the competence in that area can better showcase our issues on the economy when he is made the majority spokesperson on the economy. So that is a good news. I don't know why our friends, I don't want to mention the media house, but one of our media houses has put out there that somebody has been removed. You know, that is not fair to the issue. So I just want that to be clarified so that, you know, we understand that to be so. Second, I again appeal to my colleague MPs and the rank and file of our party that decisions regarding who is to be the running mate to Dr. Bawumia are decisions for certain organs of the party. And once such organs of the party come out with a final decision, we are all to respect it. So far, we haven't heard anything officially from the party. It is true that consultations are ongoing. We've all heard. We've heard names. All the names we are hearing are respected party members who have worked so hard for this great party. It would be inappropriate for any one person to call out an individual. It would be inappropriate. Look, who is perfect? Who is perfect? Who can tick all the boxes? None of us can, except God, our Creator. So I would want to discourage colleagues from coming out with certain attacks, how we describe people and all. After all, in this game of politics, if destiny chooses you, It is like that. It doesn't matter your height, your age, whether you're a commoner or a royal, whether you're so educated, not so educated, whether you are humble or whatever, whether you are, stamina, whether you are, an orator. Ensure that the unity of the party is maintained. We have election just 6 months away. We are aware that when Nana Opoku-Agyeman was finally selected, the votes in the NDC Council of Elders was around 35%. We all know. She got 35% of the vote. Nana Opoku-Agyeman got 35% of the votes. But when the decision was finally announced, all the others rallied around the decision, and we didn't hear a single soul in the NDC coming out publicly to say no, because none is perfect. We would only have to manage each other and look at what the person can also bring on board, look at the strength of the person, so that we'd all do together. So again, dear colleagues, my respected members of parliament, please let's be mindful of what we say out there. If eventually the decision is made and we are even against the decision, ours is to support the party. That is what it is. We should not be seen to be going out there attacking the decision of the party and, for that matter, our flag bearer. We've done so much for this country. Of course, we've not scored 100%, but between us and the NDC, we are far better than them. It's our duty to promote our party's legacy, protect, to lead this country. It is the first time. This is the first time. So for me, Dr. Bawumia represents the hope tribe they belong to once they are hardworking. That indeed, it doesn't matter his tribe. In this country, his hard work has been nobody how we belong to our party, because our party is a national party. Still having diversity and inclusiveness in his mind. When Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had the opportunity as our flag bearer for the 2008 election, again, the known tradition of the party was respected by looking at a combination that will represent Ghana. And that Nana Akufo-Addo was
senior high school education that was in place before. We are covering everybody, and we are making the budgetary provision for it. Free senior high school education doesn't have to be backed by law to be funded. It just has to be backed by commitment. After all, there was law when we were not paying Get Fund. Wasn't there a law to make sure we paid Get Fund and we left it in arrears, or National Health Insurance Fund? But what is required is a commitment and a political will to make sure that the budgetary resources are made available to support it. And this is where Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's passion is. And we are going to make those...
Speaker, on a normal day, I will not be speaking about this matter. Mr. Speaker, this matter has found itself repeatedly on a number of MPP-related newspapers. Mr. Speaker, for me, I see nothing but desperation. I see desperation on the part of the ruling party to create some form of disaffection for NDC MPs, creating impressions that the NDC members of parliament are against a bill that is not even before parliament, a bill that we have have not seen, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, how can we oppose something that we have not seen? How can the NDC oppose a bill that we have not seen? I heard them say that the bill is on its way to Parliament. For how long will this bill take from Flagstaff House to Parliament House? Weeks? Months? 7 years? Mr. Speaker, if it's coming from Ministry of Education, it's even closer. For how long to take for the bill to move from the Ministry of Education to the Parliament House? 7 years? 8 years? 1 week? Mr. Speaker, let me put on record that the NDC minority members of Parliament, of which I lead, Mr. Speaker, we will support free SHS bill that will seek to improve the quality of education, that will fix the lapses that we have seen in the free SHS implementation. Mr. Speaker, let it also record that we have not said anywhere that the NDC is opposed to a free SHS that we have not seen. Rather, Mr. Speaker, it is the government of the day and the majority side that have not presented the bill before us. We now challenge you. We give you 1 week. Bring the bill before us. We give you, in fact, tomorrow, Mr. Speaker, let them present the bill to us tomorrow. Let them present the bill before us tomorrow, so that we can all peruse the bill. So that we can see the content of the bill, Mr. Speaker. Clearly, they are desperate. Mr. Speaker, as I said, I see desperation on the part of the MPP. Rather, they should bring the bill and let the people of Ghana see what is in the bill for all of us to debate the details of the bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen of the media, fellow countrymen and women, let me assure you that very soon Ghanaians will be made to pay for Bank of Ghana recapitalization levy, a tax to recapitalize the Bank of Ghana. So as we speak, because the central bank has collapsed virtually. It is, however, our position that we have so recklessly, the government of Ghana has so recklessly mismanaged the central bank and brought it to its knees and cannot remain at the helm of affairs of the bank without being held accountable. Those who have led this reckless and criminal conduct unleashed economic hardship and financial distress on the suffering people of Ghana must be held accountable on this particular action. In fact, impunity of the highest order can no longer be tolerated by the suffering masses of Ghanaians. We must not allow this dangerous precedent to be set for future leaders. In this regard, we in the NDC call for the resignation, immediate resignation of the governor of the central bank and his deputies within 21 days from today. We are resolved to embark on popular action to occupy the central bank and drive out the team of inept, callous, and criminally minded mismanagers of our finances to save the Bank of Ghana. What we will do is that the march will ensure accountability. Colleagues, the march to ensure accountability will begin in 21 days if the governor of the Bank of Ghana does not do the needful and pack bag and baggages out of that sacred institution that he has unfortunately mismanaged. Dr. Ernest Addison and his deputies must go. Only this week, in fact last week, the annual report and the financial statement of the Bank of Ghana was released. This report depicted the catastrophic decline of the Central Bank of Ghana into a bottomless pit. The report revealed the following astonishing facts. 1. The Bank of Ghana recorded a staggering loss of 60.8 billion Ghana cedis, which is equivalent of $6 billion US. This is twice the amount we are to receive from the recent IMF bailout. 60 billion Ghana cedis, representing $6 billion US, meaning this is twice the amount we'll be asking the IMF to give to us. This simply means that the reckless and mismanagement of the governor of the Bank of Ghana has costed the nation twice what we are struggling and sacrificing to receive from the International Monetary Fund amid its major conditionalities. Colleagues, the Bank of Ghana has also recorded a negative equity of over 55.1 billion Ghana cedis. This simply means that the Bank of Ghana is currently bankrupt, or in other words, insolvent. In other words, the once prestigious Bank of Ghana, the mother of all banks in Ghana, have been bankrupted and collapsed by the NPP economic management team led by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, with the complicity of the governor of the central bank and his deputies. Friends from the media, many questions have been asked about how we arrived at this gloomy and sad situation, with some expressing surprise at the state of affairs of the central bank. For us in the NDC, the disaster did not come as a surprise. In fact, we in the NDC minority have always known that the Bank of Ghana was being mismanaged. We have made this point time without number, that the Bank of Ghana is a classic example of how not to manage an economy. The NDC party is on record to have informed Ghanaians on countless occasions that the Bank of Ghana has been on a dangerous trajectory, and indeed, it has now become a crime scene with the dire consequences for us all. Fellow countrymen and women, after the inept and clueless finance minister overborrowed and got Ghana locked out of the capital market due to our unsustainable debt obligations, the NPP government chose the easy, reckless, lazy, and criminal path of printing money. Unfortunately, this is how the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, who is now known as the printer of money, has conspired with members of economic mismanagement team led by Alhaji Dr. Bawumia and the inept finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta, aka One Program, One Bond, to destroy Ghana's central bank. After this dastardly act of overlending to the government by the central bank, they then proceeded to do the unthinkable. And the unthinkable is to write off a whopping 48.4 billion Ghana cedis, about half of Ghana's government indebtedness, to the central bank without parliamentary approval. This is illegal and criminal, and the NDC members of parliament will not allow this to pass. In fact, we will resist this. Both the mismanagement of the economy and our finances, the spectacular recklessness and ineptitude of the governor and his team has called into question the wisdom of leaving him at the helm of affairs of the central bank. We now present to you the manifestations of the mismanagement and the ineptitude and the potential corruption at the Bank of Ghana, which was revealed by the 2022 annual report and the financial statement of the Bank of Ghana. 1. The report revealed that millions of Ghana cedis have been wasted on frivolous administrative expenses. The Bank of Ghana spent a whopping 131.6 million Ghana cedis on motor vehicle maintenance and its running in the year 2022 alone. In fact, this represents 114% increase over the previous year's expenditure on the same line item. Similarly, foreign and domestic travels of the Bank of Ghana cost the taxpayer a staggering 97.4 million Ghana cedis, which again is an increase of 246% over the previous year's expenditure. The Bank of Ghana also dissipated another 8.6 million Ghana cedis on directors' remuneration alone. This represents about 87% increase over the previous year's expenditure. Directors' remuneration, 8.6 million Ghana cedis. If you are to compare this to the previous year, this represents 87% increase over the previous year. This simply means that Ghanaians were charged a mismanagement fee to deliver the collapse of the central bank. The Bank of Ghana further claimed to have spent a colossal 357.9 million Ghana cedis on banking supervision expenses for the year 2022 alone. The report further disclosed that the Bank of Ghana spent a whopping 67.9 million Ghana cedis on computers expenses alone, whilst communication expenses also amounted to 32 million Ghana cedis. Communication alone, just to meet the press, they spent 32 million Ghana cedis for 1 year. The year.
Also a very high indebted country, and we began the process of reprofiling Ghana's public debt. As you know, the public debt ended at 122 billion Ghana cedis in 2016. And so we, as a matter of strategy, began the process of reprofiling our debt. This just means that we are replacing more expensive debt with less expensive debt, short-term debt with longer-term debt. This is what is happening. And so you saw that last Friday or so, Ghana issued a bond essentially to do this reprofiling. And in that context, we raised some $2.25 billion of investment that came in to buy this CD-denominated bond. There was a CD bond which was issued for 15 years tenor, 15-year tenor, and that brought in $2.25 billion. But what is so remarkable about this particular transaction, and I think it is, for me, the deal of the year so far, we've been able to reprofile our debt, get more foreign exchange without increasing our debt stock. That is indeed remarkable. Many people didn't quite understand the transaction, and they thought that we had gone to borrow $2 billion to add to Ghana's debt. No, we are actually replacing more expensive debt with less expensive debt, elongating it and making it better for this country.
Ghanaian authorities have made unprecedented efforts to address macroeconomic imbalances. Today, the macroeconomic outlook is dramatically improving, and there are clear signs of economic stabilization. Growth is surprising on the upside. Inflation has fallen significantly. Fiscal policy is consolidating, and foreign exchange reserve buildup has been robust. First and foremost, on inflation, we saw the trajectory in 2023 with a sharp fall from 54% at the end of 2022 to 23% at the end of 2023. This was achieved with very effective monetary policy operations, which were very costly to the balance sheet.
$1, 1 CD. In the time of Mills and Mahama, 2 CDs, $1. If I was them, I would say to the people of Ghana, I am sorry. We are sorry for the poor work we have done. We're going to go and think about ourselves. But that is not the people we're dealing with. The fruits of office, the money under the table has become sweet for them, so they're determined to stay. Are we going to allow that to happen? Are we going to allow that to happen? In Kufuor's time, one of the people who advised and helped him develop a strong CD was my running mate, Muhammadu Bawumia. Then he was deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. It's one of the reasons I brought him to come and join me, that we will work on the CD and create again a strong CD that will be able to allow us to develop our economy and allow our traders and our to be able to develop.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Thursday, the 4th day of July, 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Anti-gay bill suit. Speaker surprises Supreme Court. Introduces fiscal impact analysis. Conduct extensive consultations on free SHS bills. Stakeholders. Herbert Krapper nominated Minister of State at Energy Ministry. Galamsey impact. Experts call for decisive action to save nation. Failure to answer audit queries to attract sanctions. Audit agency warns. Consider national interest first. Majority leader to political actors. And there's a special supplement on the American Chamber of Commerce. The Ghanaian Times. Clock sack strike halts work. Public offices empty. Members demand implementation of new salary structure. EU grants Ghana 32 million euros to develop pharmaceutical industry. Africa-Europe partnership in mining sector key to meeting the UN SDGs. Lands Minister. Man allegedly tied to tree set ablaze till death. Assembly member, 5 others grabbed. Daily Guide. Anti-LGBTQ bill. Supreme Court decides applications July 17. Nana elevates Herbert Krapper to Minister of State. Ochinini calls for environmental stewardship. Courts have no business in our work. Speaker. 3 shot dead at Barnier Chrome. The New Crusading Guide. NPP fights Mahama over post-service emoluments. Lands Minister advocates robust partnership in mining sector between Africa and Europe to meet SDGs. Finance and Housing Ministries collaborate on housing incentives. Baumia's VIP choice solid, Professor H.S. Ikanku, La Homowo in limbo as Asafo. Youth express displeasure of injustice. I have not threatened Adam Bonner's family, Iyoko Boss. The insight. Why Republic Day? What Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said on Ghana's Republican status on July 1, 1960. Dr. Tony Edu outlines history of incompetence, mismanagement, and the NPP from Buzia to Akufo-Addo. NPP group kicks against Napo's nomination as Baumia's running mate. Nana Kwesi Anan Weabo, the 7th, installed chief of Gomwanyanyano. Economic hardship bites as price hikes for water, electricity, fuel take toll on Ghanaians with prepaid meters running like Usain Bolt. The Daily Statesman, champion environmental stewardship, opportunity charges religious leaders. JINAPO urges Africa-Europe collaboration on sustainable mineral exploitation. Finance and Housing Ministries partner on housing incentives. CSOs propose policy reforms for political parties. The New Finder, extensive incentives proposed to deliver massive affordable houses. New cocoa pricing system, farmers to absorb global market fluctuations. Bank of Ghana governance tenure should extend beyond presidential terms, IEA. Government requires $600 million to $800 million for external debt service this year. EU launches $32 million initiative to boost vaccine manufacturing in Ghana. Daily Post, Snate Hotels sale, Ablakwa drops damning memo on conflict of interest and availability of funds. The NPP's presidential ticket for elections 2024, a case of the dumb and the dumber. Francis Poku's warning, is the MPP listening? Until the lawmaking process is exhausted, judiciary can't order parliament. Bagbin. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
She's coming. She's coming!
Oh, it's in. Red Hour receipt now! Boss, let's go back.
Here, take this.
She's coming.
I know. Go to the pharmacy now.
She's coming! Oh. She's here.
Pay faster, pay safer, and pay easy with Momo app. Download now and pay with the QR code, merchant ID, and so much more.
Hey, Walambo!
Hey, Walambo!
Hey, I asked him to buy me original Polita.
Hey, please don't make mistake. Stop the papa. Open the back mouth. Any Polita no gala. Hey, papa.
Papa, can ruffle.
The Polita is original, the first and the best.
What is? Ukota also pet dear acrobat to use to me.
Polita, yes.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
The patch of Bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Judy said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim Jom Kasan. Kile Hossein. Cal 360 did the one. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
Hey, you will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enkoye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basima kra. Ama me kunu me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us GC mixture and the capsules. Aye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye bemasima. Ya, we be boa wuku. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wani nya nanim te sese ne oyi chokmo na.
Give us GC mixture and a capsule. Achesa.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Quadawi if you do me.
Are you looking to own a prime piece of litigation free land where you can put up your dream family home or your ideal getaway retreat within a luxurious estate? Then look no further. Welcome to Rehoboth Hills, where your dream of hassle-free land ownership comes to life. Acquire land devoid of multiple purchases, litigation, and land guard issues in a safe and secure gated community while enjoying the fabulous night view of Accra from the serene Ebri Mountains. Rehoboth Hills offers spacious plots that provide you with the ideal setting for your dream home and a valuable, safe investment for your future. The lands are located in the prime area of Ayarifa within our residential development Rehoboth Hills, overlooking the city of Accra and the Ebri Mountains. Our prices are very affordable and designed to fit your budget. We offer flexible payment terms, ensuring that you can invest in a valuable asset for the future. Contact us on 0244 764 499 or 0204-950-810 or visit our website at www.rehobothpropertiesgh.com. Rehoboth Properties, quality housing for all.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. with me on the show this morning, I have the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture. And he's also the Member of Parliament for the 2nd D constituency, the Honorable Andrew Ejapa Mesa. Honorable, good morning.
Morning, my brother.
Also with me on the show this morning is the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. He's also the Deputy Ranking on the Communications Committee in Parliament. And there are a lot of things happening in that area. A lot of things happening. Just this morning, I'm hearing about some things with respect to Ghana Web and all that. But Honorable Sam George, good morning.
Morning, Manje. Manje.
Manje,
it is well.
It looks like both of you are using my designer.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Harmony
Trends. Yes.
Oh, is that
this
so?
is my
Yes.
hammer.
I can tell.
This was a gift from a friend of mine who lives in Lagos.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Dr. Josh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randy.
Yes.
Communications. Plenty matter. SMP from 5G to what. The latest there, Ghana Web.
Who has asked you any question?
He asked me.
He asked a question. I only pass a comment.
But me, I'm also passing a comment. I'm also just passing a comment.
Why you
seniority first? Let me go to the minister. Let the minister
comment.
You are opposition man. You keep
opposition
quiet.
to the left.
Keep quiet. Keep quiet.
Governing party to the right.
Let the
4 months. The good people of this country will decide.
Everyone.
God has decided.
You think so in your favor? Well,
let me start.
He's had a crisis.
Let me start with the minister first.
Okay. Okay.
So bide your time.
Yes.
Bide your time.
Yes, Doc.
Honorable Minister.
Raddy,
what's going on?
It's good to be here as always, and let me take the opportunity to wish our viewers good morning. Yesterday, the rains did some havoc in some parts of my constituency.
Oh.
Yes, at Diembra.
Was it that heavy there?
Yeah, it was. I'm told. I was in cabinet for most part of the afternoon, and so later on when I closed, I was heading home. Was when I got notification. So in some communities, it's really a perennial matter, and largely, I'm told, because of the location. So that if it's right by the coast, so the drains that come from
the
communities or converge at that enclave. So if it the raining coincides with the high tide, then the water can discharge into the sea, and so it spills over into the community, and all through the years, something that happens on a year-by-year basis.
But there must be an engineering solution.
The hydrology people have indicated that probably will have to be relocate the community. But
that's the difficult part. That's the difficult part. Yes. When people have lived in a community, I'm sure for decades.
Decades, it's difficult to move them. But we'll see how we can support them to cope with the situation that before them yesterday. My commiserations, and I'll be going back home tomorrow at dawn, so necessarily have to pass by there to and see.
Your budget has to be adjusted. Contingency.
Good morning to my good friend Sam. We haven't met in a while, strangely. I'm not sure we've met this meeting of Parliament because the task is becoming more and more intense. So my own attendance in Parliament, this meeting hasn't been the best.
Because of your ministerial responsibilities.
Yes, you know. By the time I realized the day is over, and there's a lot that
based on your little experience, would you support the view that, and it's a view, let me just disclose my bias, it's a position I hold. I've even said publicly that the day that happens, I would consider running for Parliament. That, is it Is it 71 or 74? Which one says that majority of ministers must come from parliament? It's 70 something.
Yeah.
Do you support the view that that particular clause ought to be amended?
Well, 74 is diplomatic.
It's 70 something.
Yeah,
78. Okay.
78. Randy, I mean, two things. You can adjust the time that Parliament actually sets to deal with that situation where ministers of state are also members of Parliament, because that's what pertains in UK. Okay, every minister of state is a member of Parliament, and there are no issues. Or that you keep the time that Parliament sits, and as it were.
That's the parliamentary system.
Yes, we practice what we call the hybrid, which is a fusion of the presidential and the parliamentary. Okay.
Is it not a hybrid to the extent that majority of ministers are MPs? Well, beyond that, I don't see.
But
beyond that, we still try to do.
That's the uniqueness of our hybrid, separate and distinct from the British system where everybody is a member of Parliament and a minister of state, and in the US where there's a presidential and members of government are not part of the legislature. Yeah. And so it served us well to some extent. But there's a difficulty sometimes with the management of time. And so what, for example, the UK have done is to make parliamentary sittings later in the day. So, for example, if Parliament was sitting from 4, say, then you can execute most of your assignments in the ministry during the course of the day and go to Parliament.
So in that case, we have let's say 275 MPs.
Yeah.
Okay. So assuming 75 are ministers or deputy ministers, must their work be the reason why the 275 must work from afternoon?
Well, it's an institutional decision that we have to take. Of course, borders on our constitution. I frankly don't have any issue either way. Okay, if it's completely diffused from each other, people will go in and do.
There are people like
business.
myself who believe that it will make Parliament more assertive.
Yeah, possible.
Okay.
Possible. I'm sure the framers of our constitution had good reason why they put it together to try and create some, if you like, synergy between the two institutions and make governance effective. We've done 32 years or so of it, or 30 years.
32.
If we think that it's about time that we review some of those provisions, I'm happy for us to engage in that debate and see where we go.
Tourism, arts and culture, anything new happening? Anything we should know or hear about?
Nothing exactly, except that there are a few things that we're working on that I'm expecting will go before cabinet before the end of the month. Okay. Legislative instruments for the Creative Arts Act, and then also the Film Authority, and also cultural policy, which has been outstanding for a while.
Cultural policy?
Yes.
We don't have one? Or well, outmoded?
Yes, it's being reviewed.
Okay.
And so we need to accelerate work on it to make sure that we finish off before the end of tenure.
I had a meeting with the board chair of the National Theatre, Nana Fredria, a couple of days ago.
Okay.
They're coming up with something.
Yeah, they're doing an art festival, cultural festival. I believe it's end of July. Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm meeting a couple of, and there's something they're doing, which is also, they're now giving out the National Theatre to some of the directors and the playwrights. So like you own, let's say, a month, and then you have your productions there. And I think it's something they started last year. And I think it's really, really, helping. If they could get a lot more push.
Yes, we're working closely with them to see. It's not a question of budget. Budget already has been done. for the year 2024. So there's not much room that you can maneuver. But we have an engagement with private sector, with some of our external stakeholders to see how we can improve the environment for the creative sector to thrive, because it holds a lot of key to job creation and dealing with unemployment issues that we have to some extent. So it's important that we pay a little bit more attention to that space.
Okay. So my final one to you, as far as your office is concerned, this might not be directly related, but you just said that you were in cabinet yesterday. So you're a cabinet minister.
Yes.
You were at the energy ministry.
Yes.
The energy minister, once your national council today and your NEC approve of, will become the running mate of Alhaji Bawumia. Now we're reading that Herbert Krapper, who's a deputy minister, has been nominated as a minister of state.
Yes.
Is it in anticipation of a resignation by the minister as Minister of Energy in view of his role as running mate, and the fact that the president does not intend to appoint another minister or cause another cabinet minister to have supervisory responsibility over the energy ministry? That is why we're having this elevation.
I'm not in a position to confirm whether there will be any resignations.
Okay.
But obviously, if Dr. Prempe's function as running mate, by the grace of God, if National Council approves him today, and I don't have any cause to see why they will not. Because there's been a lot of engagement, as far as I know, to try and build consensus around the flag bearer's choice. And so I'm already in my celebratory attire, as you can see.
That's the reason
for my white.
Okay.
Is because it is my prayer and hope that my boss and brother and colleague would be confirmed to be the running mate of His Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. But of course, then you would expect that if he is going to play more role on the campaign trail, which is expected, then you need somebody with, a ministerial status of sorts to handle the day-to-day, routine work of the ministry. Of course, if the president decides to maintain him, then he would do the heavy lifting of key policy decisions. But the Minister of State can sign letters on, his own capacity.
And answer questions in Parliament.
Yes, he can, So that may be the reason why my good friend and younger brother Herbert has been elevated to a Minister of State. But of course, that's entirely within the prerogative of His Excellency.
But if you have to resign to
as regards
contest primaries, presidential primaries, why won't you resign if you're going to be running mate? I guess the rationale behind it is for you to
I'm not so sure.
And not let your work.
Yes, I'm not so sure whether, of course, the presidential primaries has a different dynamic completely from the running mate role. The Vice President is still in office, is performing his functions as Vice President. Yes, of course. And the Minister is still going to remain a Member of Parliament until the expiration of the term of the 8th Parliament. And so if the President is of the view that he can still perform his ministerial functions,
why not?
Why not? That's entirely his prerogative, and I'll leave him to make that determination going forward.
Okay. Sam George, are you also in white for Napo?
Yes.
Okay. I like your honesty.
Speak the truth. You are not.
Oh, the man just said it.
I didn't even know when he came into the studio that I asked him.
It's okay. I don't want you to.
See the way I'm calm and
please.
That doesn't like it.
Okay, so Sam, I've not asked you. You said yes. Let's end it there.
No.
Let's move on.
I can't end it there.
No, let's end it.
I'm here to celebrate the post.
It's okay. Because it's okay.
If
it's
I
please, I asked you, Sam. I asked you.
I'll celebrate.
So please, let's come to your. Let's come to you. It's okay.
I try your lines.
Really?
Sam George, let's
best.
Focus. Let's focus.
But I was going to
initially,
why I'm happy for Napo.
It's okay. It's okay.
He's my friend.
It's okay.
You know the video of Napo where he's doing, you are mad. You know it was to me.
Oh, okay. So you want to show him that you are mad?
My first encounter with him in Parliament. Now he's my very good friend.
So you want to demonstrate to him that you are mad?
But that day I told him, I said, look at you. They say you are mad.
So I'm asking.
You know the kinds of things that happen in the chamber. Both sides.
So
these things.
The beauty of it is they capture me, but they captured me. So I'm here to celebrate it.
So not to show him, not to ask him Ole second way.
But Randy, in all honesty, I think that I'll give you an opportunity to come in. I think that the choice of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh is an excellent one. I've seen some publication.
You are doing a second bite.
No, please. One of the newspapers that headlines that
opposition is difficult to.
Some group.
Real government is enjoying.
They bully me.
So my little brothers will let me. When I sit here with Uncle Kwesi Pratt.
This one is not my little brother. This one you are using government to bully me. You are using government to say you are government. And Randy is obliging you because he doesn't want national security to pay us a visit.
Oh, please. Randy has been doing this job for years.
Leave
There's never been one day that national security has paid him.
Leave national security alone.
Randy, I mean, to Napo's selection, I was saying that as far as I'm concerned, that's an excellent one. And His Excellency Vice President, obviously, and I told that yesterday, Mr. Pratt was alleging that the president was engaged via Zoom.
There was a Zoom meeting.
To do what?
There was a Zoom. I think the day that the news came out that Dr. Bawumia had informed the president, that engagement between Dr. Bawumia and the president was through a Zoom meeting.
That's not true.
Really?
Absolutely. It's completely false.
Really?
I'm telling you, on authority. But what was the urgency that will require Dr. Bawumia, who had traveled to UK, not wait and engage His Excellency the President on such an important matter that he would do it via Zoom? Like, seriously? That's completely false. Okay. That's not true. There was a direct person-to-person engagement in the office of His Excellency the President. Okay, so let it not be said that the President engaged, Dr. Bawumia engaged the President via Zoom to discuss his choice of who his running mate was going to be. I mean, how? Randy.
No,
I'm coming. But I was saying that I think that it was an excellent choice. I've worked with Napo closely for 3.5 years. I know his mettle. I know his competencies. I know his attitude towards work. I know his person-to-person relationships. And I'm particularly excited that he will complement His Excellency the Vice President well. It's a good ticket that we can market to the people of this country. It offers hope. It's clearly forward-looking to the future, not the past. And I must congratulate him most sincerely. And I hope that the National Council will do the needful today and confirm him so that we can begin the battle of engaging the Ghanaian people towards election 2020.
Okay, so
2024.
So, Bobo, I can confirm to you that on the 25th of June, there was a Zoom interaction between the President and the Vice President about this matter.
How so? When was 25th of June?
You just go and do your checks.
No.
That on the 25th of June, there was a Zoom interaction between His Excellency the President.
But the 25th of June,
Vice President, yes.
The announcement was made when? On the 26th.
Yes.
On the 25th of June, the Vice President was in Ghana.
Yes.
So how was he going to have a Zoom meeting with the President on
Where was the President?
President was in Ghana.
On the 25th?
Absolutely. He was.
Just double check.
Yes, I'm speaking. I've said that I'm speaking to your authority that on the matter of the discussion between Dr. Baumia's choice.
On the 25th of June.
I'm saying to you that I'm speaking on authority.
Right. Okay.
You want me to show you text messages?
No, don't worry.
Please.
It's fine.
Very good.
Okay. Let me move to Sam. Sam, let me bring you in.
Randy, whether it is Zoom, Skype, Teams, whatever it is, the choice of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh is one that we welcome, and we are excited about the prospects of he finally being nominated. I mean, it's been rumored for a very long time, but I think that it's going to be a very interesting campaign season because you have two flag bearers who have had oversight over the economy. Two flag bearers, oversight over the economy, and their track records are going to be looked at. You're going to look at what John Mahama did as head of the economic management team and what Bawumia has not done as head of the economic management team. And then you have running mates, one who took the reins of our educational sector and ensured that children had a curriculum with textbooks. And when she was taking over, 4 children were sharing 1 textbook. Now, by the time she was handing over, every child had 3 textbooks. You're going to juxtapose that against the tenure of Matthew Poku Prempeh as education minister, where he brought about a curriculum, and 4 years on, we don't even have textbooks for the curriculum. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting time. And that's why I'm in white. I'm excited because I love the choice the NPP has made, and it's going to make us have a campaign of policies where we're going to have discussions. I mean, on the track records of both the flag bearer and the running mate. So yes, I mean, whether it is about the fact that as for Kumasi people, and I'm not saying it, this is attributed to Napo, that no matter what you do, all you need to do is give them T-shirts. They will vote for MPP. The Kumasi people will let us know whether Napo is speaking for them or is not speaking for them. You know, as to whether the people of Kita deserve to have some allocation. And my mother and very good friend, Dad Gomashi, Mama Gawa. When Metro was running Good Morning Ghana on generator, whether you had developed your own Doomsaw timetable. I mean, we'll get to all of those and see how. So it's going to be a campaign of comparisons, you know, where we can now compare like for like. So I'm excited about it, and that's why I'm in white. But Randy, you know, earlier on I was talking about some interesting developments at Ghana Web, and it's telling, you know. We've been talking, my brother and colleague Goku Jeto Ablakwa has been going on and on and on about state capture. You know, the MPP is so desperate to win power. They don't believe that Dr. Bawumia and Dr. Napo on their own strengths can win them power. They don't believe it. They don't believe that the two of them, Napo and Bawumia together, they don't have what it takes to win the MPP the election. So they need to capture every aspect of the state. You can see state capture happening in almost all our state institutions. Now, even the media, you are at risk.
Why?
Randy, Ghana Web is part of a conglomerate called African Web Technologies. Now they have my Cameroon Web, my Tanzania Web, Ghana Web, all those webs. It's run by a Dutch man, Rob Bellart. And he's run this thing for over 25 years. Now he has a partner called Mark. They had a dispute and they went to court and he was supposed to pay some compensation to Mark. So he decided he wanted to get some investors to hold shareholding in the company so that he could use that injection of cash to offset whatever damages he had to pay his partner. So he asked people around him out of the company through one of our colleagues in parliament.
You mean they have bought it? Somebody, you mean that somebody whose NPP has bought his shares? Is that what you mean?
In fact, he and you see, I'll let you understand. It appears to be that he was looking to sell part of his shares in the Africa Web Development, Africa Web Technologies. Now, the people here who were negotiating for him decide to go behind him, and instead of it being Africa Web Technologies, go and transfer shares of Ghana Web, because Africa Web Technologies has no value for them. You see, why am I saying this? Ghana Web is seen to be a very neutral platform for news in Ghana that carries both NDC and MPP opinions. Now, what they've done, and I have this letter. This is a letter dated 25th of June. Okay. The same day there was supposed to be the Zoom between Dr. Baumia and
what is
President
the
Akufo-Addo.
point you want to make with the letter?
Our colleague in Parliament paid 1 million euros.
No, please.
To buy
Sam George.
Randy,
Sam George.
let me finish.
Yes.
You've not heard what I'm saying.
Yes.
I said our colleague in Parliament.
Yes.
On the MPP side.
Yes.
Paid 1 million euros.
Yes.
To take over Ghana Web.
Yes.
Has installed his wife as now the managing director, the CEO.
Yes.
And his wife's brother.
Yes.
By name David Entry.
Yes.
As now the managing director.
What is wrong with that?
It's important that Ghanaians now know.
Yes.
That Ghana Web is no longer that objective mouthpiece. And I'll tell you why. Since this acquisition, and even Rob in his letter, and I'll read his letter. That's the CEO. So Sam George is a politician. I'll read Rob's letter to you. Portions of his letter.
No, I want to understand the point you're making.
The point I'm making is that right now, Ghana Web has become like Daily Searchlight. It's an extension of the MPP propaganda wing. And look, don't take my word for it. This is Rob's letter, and I think I've sent it to Annie. Dear former ADPU staff, on 19th of June.
Annie, don't show the letter.
On 19th of June, I requested Matilda Nate in my capacity as the legal owner of ADPU to hand over assets of ADPU to a newly appointed director of ADPU.
Who is this letter addressed to?
All staff. It's a general letter to all the staff.
Staff
of the Africa ADPU, which is the parent company of Ghana Web.
ADPU.
Yes.
What's that? What's ADPU? Okay.
Now let me just read. Under my stewardship, ADPU supported the principles of GhanaWeb.com being a neutral and objective medium. I am afraid GhanaWeb.com will now digress into a mouthpiece of the MPP, obviously with the intention to let the MPP win the 2024 election. This approach cannot work because GhanaWeb.com will lose the patronage of the NDC voters, but yet it is being implemented by Mr. Entry and the disloyal former management team of ADPU. You can confirm that this is the letter I'm reading. It's not my words.
Oh, I can confirm that you are holding a piece of paper with a signature on it.
Okay. But because, the words I read are from it.
I don't have a problem.
The words I read are from it.
The man is not blanked from cross-examination in court because he has not been in court in a while.
I'm surprised at this man.
I've shown you the letter. Randy.
A piece of paper with writing on it.
Important Ghanaians now.
No letterhead. Nothing.
That is important Ghanaians know.
Maybe it's a memo.
Oh, this is a memo.
Yes. It's
to the staff of ADPU.
It's an internal memo.
Bracket former ADPU staff.
It's an internal memo.
What does it even mean?
Okay, when you don't understand, I'll explain to you. So,
Randy, my comprehension
so
is
what
bad.
you are saying is that
it's unbelievable.
Because you know what I'll tell you?
Yes.
The Ghana Web carried out an interview with Fifi Fiavikwete.
Okay.
Where he did a damning expose on government. Ghana Web's new CEO, David Entry, MD, David Entry, has directed that should not be played until they get a response from the MPP. That's not how Ghana Web used to operate. So I'm just saying that people should now go back since middle of June and go and look at the headlines on Ghana Web. You will realize that Ghana Web is no longer the Ghana Web it used to be. It is now a mouthpiece of the NPP. And I'm stating this for the records because we will get to that place where people will begin to cite Ghana Web. It's no longer the old Ghana Web. Management has changed. If you want me to name the MP who's bought it, I can name him.
No.
Randy.
Unless I see.
I have named his brother-in-law. So anybody who knows him.
I'm saying that.
He's a medical doctor.
Until I see the.
He's a medical doctor.
Unless I see.
Very thick and tall medical doctor on the
It's okay.
Randy,
it's okay.
You see, this propaganda, you'll be exposed.
Exposed at what?
Oh, wait.
He's not bought it?
But if assuming without admitting, because I don't know.
So you don't know
that somebody is bought
You used
Ghana
to be the vice chairman of the committee on communications before he left.
What's your big? What is your big deal really? And what is the big deal about it really?
You are capturing state media or public media. Yes.
TV3.
But this is a private.
Oh, Randy.
Ghana Web is a private.
Yes, but now they're capturing it.
But what's wrong with that?
And you should let people know.
That what?
That it is no longer the objective mouthpiece.
But Ghana Web has always been private.
Yes, but they have always run a neutral policy. And I'm telling you that the interview with Fifi Kwete that was conducted on the 18th of June, why have they not published it up till now? They are waiting for a response from the Bawumia campaign.
Randy, what are the antecedents of TV3?
What is it? Who is TV3? I'm asking you, yes.
Is it not a mouthpiece of your party?
Oh, right now, TV3 is
that's exactly what they do. Go and check their Saturday programs and everyday programs.
The ones you go on.
Muntie TV or Muntie Radio or somewhere why they call
Everybody
it.
knows
Radio XYZ.
But that's
so
the ownership
if Ghana Web,
Web,
somebody has bought it, and according to you, it's
now
going
to be
Oh, I'm coming. I don't have a problem. Assassin Radio and all that. So if Ghana Web, somebody has
now
bought
let us put Ghana Web in that category.
I don't have a problem at all.
Let's not paint a picture of them being neutral. That's the point I'm making. People keep going to Ghana Web as a neutral source. Now they no longer are. That's my own word.
Says who?
Rob Bellat, the former owner of Ghana Web.
Says who? That people go to Ghana Web because of its neutrality. Ghana Web publishes stories from all sorts of places.
And now there's an editorial policy not to allow that happen.
So if the owner takes a decision, what really is your problem? What it really is your problem is what?
As a member, as a ranking member, deputy ranking on the parliamentary committee,
you come and sit here and speak to this matter since somebody has committed some crime.
No, I have not said there's a crime.
The ownership of Ghana Web has changed. I don't know.
I'm not
confirming it because I don't know with this piece of paper.
It goes beyond the piece of paper. You can call it a piece of paper.
That's what you brought out here to prove that Ghana Web's ownership has changed.
I'm telling you, no.
Piece of paper.
That's not it.
It's fine.
I'm giving you
you can with whatever. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, and I'm saying to you, if you don't know, you can choose to sit here and, play Sergio Ramos. That's fine. But the bottom line is, you cannot dispute the fact because you don't know. And I'm saying on authority that it's been bought, and I've mentioned the new CEO and the new MD, and I'm saying to you that right now the editorial policy has changed. That Ghana Web will no longer run stories that are critical of the NPP without an official response. That is not how Ghana Web used to operate. Like you said, you don't know. Ghana Web used to operate a blogging system where bloggers were allowed to run their independent stories, who work for Ghana Web, run their independent stories and post them online, whether they were critical of government or not. And that has always been it. Ghana Web has had stories that are critical of the NDC, critical of the NPP. And I'm saying to you that now, since this acquisition, I said on the 18th of June, Ghana Web ran an interview with Fifi Kwete, the General Secretary of the NDC. That story has been put on ice until they get on the instructions of David Entry. Until they get the express response. Randy, which media house, which neutral media house runs an interview of a political party, finishes the piece, and says that I'm going to play it to the opposition for them to respond to it before I air? Is that how you run?
That could be done if in the view of the, first of all, it's not live. Even if it's live, the issue of a rejoinder and all those things come up. If it's not live, the editor reserves the right on the basis of the content of that interview to say that, look, there are some legal ramifications or there are some ethical considerations. I think that I can only run the story side by side the other view. That would be an
would you go and play?
Position.
No, Randy, you are senior journalist. Would you go and play the other person's tape to the respondent to respond?
No, I have this story. I want your
fantastic.
I want your hold on. I have this story. I need your response to the story before
the issues.
Yes,
yes. You don't go and play the recording of the General Secretary of the MPP to the NDC to the MPP and say these are the issues he's raised. Respond. If you are doing, I'm not a trained journalist, except you are telling me that that's what journalists do.
There's nothing wrong.
No,
there will be nothing wrong with that.
Randy, there's everything wrong.
Why?
If you came to me,
yes,
and I granted you an interview,
yes,
and the discussion with me was you want an interview on the elections,
yes,
and I tell you what my position, the position of my political party is,
yes,
then you take my recording,
yes,
without my permission. And
why do I need your permission?
Because I gave it to you to air. I didn't give it to
you, but you see,
to go and show to my opposition.
What you forget, Sam, what you forget is that when I air that interview,
yes,
I am also responsible, although you are the person who spoke, for airing that interview on my network.
Yes.
I am also responsible for the things that you have said.
Yes.
That is how come there's a lawsuit.
Funds. And there are several times I have gotten a call that says, so and so has made this comment. We want you to respond to it. Okay? They don't bring me a recording of their conversation with that person that is yet to air.
Maybe you don't ask for. Others will say that if you say that this person has said this and that about me, please furnish me with that so that I can react appropriately. There are people who do that.
No, Randy.
And it will be within their rights.
That's not how, that's not how Ghana Web has operated.
Okay, that's another.
That's not how they've operated. And for me, I think that I owe it to the Ghanaian people as part of our oversight responsibility over the media and the ministry and its agencies to ensure that when there are such shifts in ownership that affect editorial policy, people ought to know. And you see, Randy, let me be clear here. Let me be very clear.
I mean, for me, if it is true, hold on. For me, if it is true that a politician,
yes,
has bought Ghana Web,
yes,
and the ownership of Ghana Web is now with a politician,
yes,
for me that is news enough.
Yes, and that's the point I'm making.
For me, that is news enough.
Yes,
it's news. It will be news anywhere in the world. If that happens, if there's that transition and you have a situation where it's like saying that tomorrow Ejapa Mesa has become the owner of Metro TV. It's news.
Yes.
Yes, it's news.
And
so for me,
and that's the point I'm making. And
beyond that, what?
Wait. No. You see, that's the point I was going to make.
So you are urging your supporters not to go on Ghana Web anymore, or what? Or the Ghanaian people should go on Ghana Web again, or what?
I think he's succeeded in doing what he wants to do.
I make the point very simply that I am not against media houses having a political inclination. I'm not against it.
Okay. Does that mean that you don't have a problem with politicians owning media houses?
We are there.
What you have said is different from the issue of ownership.
Yes. You see, it's a different thing, a politician owning the media house, and it's a different thing, the house saying that we are center-left, center-right. I mean, it is known where Fox stands and where CNN stands. I don't have a problem.
But where Fox stands is because the owner of Fox stands to the right.
Can I finish?
Is because the owner of CNN stands with the left.
But they are not politicians.
So the ownership,
they are not politicians.
So the ownership is important.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I don't have any difficulty at all. Okay. But
you see, anybody.
So I guess the point Sam George wants us to know is that for all of us who thought that Ghana Web was owned by a foreigner who had no interest in Ghana's politics, it has changed.
It's changed.
I think that's the point.
It's changed.
All the round.
It has changed, and that now Ghana Web has an interest in Ghana's politics and the outcome of the politics. Okay. The same way when anybody listens to Radio Gold, they listen to it with a certain subconscious bias. The same way when you listen to Oman FM or Asase, you listen to it with a certain bias. It is the same way I'm saying that when we listen to certain media houses, when they listen to Metro, everybody runs it without a bias. Well, there are NPP people who say that you are NDC. There are NDC people who say, good evening, Ghana. What's his name? The Christmas tree guy at airport company. What's his name, Kra?
You know his name, so
No.
stop that. You know his name, stop that.
Paul. There are people who say Paul is MPP. So everybody says Metro has balanced it out. In the morning, NDC, in the evening, MPP. It is fine. But when we try to mask it under a certain cloud of neutrality, we owe it to the Ghanaian people to let them know that there is no neutrality at Ghana Web. And that's the point I tried to make.
All right, okay.
So I just went on Ghana Web.
Yes.
The story that I pulled up, it says source, bbc.com.
Yes.
So if it's from Asasi Radio, it will cite the source. If it's from Metro TV,
yes,
it will cite the source.
Yes.
So what really is your
Ghana Web also runs its own stories. That's what you don't know.
Has that function changed?
No, Ghana Web runs its own stories.
I've been interviewed by some.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. They have a reporter in Parliament and all.
Let's move on. Let's move on. So if you're thinking of getting a toothpaste that will take care of the entire family and save you some money, the recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. It is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasos, available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864798. KEL 360 toothpaste, happy smile. Enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumon, or just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. We'll take a break. When we return, the legislature and the judiciary. What's going on?
Again.
Hello, thank you for calling MTN.
This is Jerry, Jolly J for short.
How may I help?
I'm not happy with you guys at all. You've been giving Bongo gifts all the time.
Who is Bongo?
Oh, Bongo, my friend. He purchased in my room.
Oh.
You've been giving free gifts, but I don't.
That's MTN Rewards, sir. Talk, text, browse, and more, and you get to redeem free call time or data by simply dialing *550#. And on Fridays, you can even get extra special rewards like food vouchers, shopping discounts, and much more.
Papa didn't tell me anything, no. Would you like to know how I got the name Jolly J?
That won't be necessary, Mr. Jolly. Calling customer care service doesn't give you points.
I'm gonna call my mom. I'll call my grandma. And I'll call my ex. That girl can talk, Papa. Hello, Mama. So what's the topic for today?
MTN.
Rise and shine. It's another day to stay on point. Toast is Friday, it's still on point. Watch is Friday all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Watch is Friday, it's still on point. For your bread,
it's creamy.
For your toast, it's still on point. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. For your toast, it's still on point. It's still on point. Fortune spread, it's yummy, delicious. It's still on point.
Fortune spread, delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
In today's modern world, Stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
The patch of bantama.
Matias.
Cycle.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me jidi say we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Say me kai. Kel 360 toothpaste.
Gaskia, Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasa. Kile hosen. Kel 360 did the one. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
Hey, you will see feeling kika when you know Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Papa is walking home.
Bar Herbal Hospital. Specialists in every kind of bone disease.
Bar Herbal Hospital. Eh, baby, a son of a whippia. Nanso, yare timi sapa, dumpemu yare.
Spinal cord, swelling of the arms, arthritis, bone injury, swelling of the leg with reddish color around it, and so on. See, Bar Herbal Hospital has special ultra-modern machine for checking up the body. I have tried them and I got good results. Try Bar Herbal Hospital.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. So with me on the show, I have the Honorable Andrew Ejapa Mesa and also the Honorable Sam Nate George. Now, Ayesoko, that could some damn be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. You can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 055 001 0000. All right. Okay. So there are a few messages that came up on earlier discussion, and want to look at that. But Amin Tamale says, I'd like to remind Honorable Sam George that Al Jazeera had to seek the response of the presidency before airing the investigative piece on the gold saga. Then Pakwesi Asare of Media General. He says, thanks for your professionalism. I think aside Sam's expose of Ghana were being purchased by a politician, his other bits about editorial policy, I don't agree with. Every journalist worth his salt must seek balance and fairness in all his reportage. Please tell Ejapa Mesa to leave TV3 alone.
Let's tell us his editorial policy.
The back on your who is listening to us, still watching us in the States, says, what Honorable Saujata George is doing in the story reminds me of Akuko Daku Apino Soup by Chawa Rollins. This is deliberate to run down Ghana where we must be discouraged. This is very unfair to the business decision by a businessman. So that's Mark's view on this. All right. Okay. So I've seen a story here. Both of you are members of Parliament, and page 7 of the Daily Post. So as the Speaker of Parliament, Aban Bagbin, says, it's not the business of the courts to pry into the conduct of Parliament during the process of lawmaking unless the House finishes its work on that particular legislation. He made the comment after the Supreme Court on Wednesday set July 17 to rule on whether to injunct Parliament from transmitting the anti-LGBTQI+ bill to the President or not. Lawyers for the applicants have contended before the Apex Court that Parliament breached the Constitution when it considered the bill, which is a private member's bill, without a fiscal impact analysis, and the Speaker also certifying that the bill did not impose a charge on the Consolidated Fund. However, Mr. Bagbin says, until the President signs a bill into law, the court should not entertain these suits. Quote, let it be known that when it comes to lawmaking, until all the processes in this House are exhausted, there is no business for anybody, including the courts, to consider, because the Constitution and the enabling legislation take care of all these challenges. So until it is a law and assented to by the President, the judiciary has no jurisdiction. The Speaker insisted that should his caution not be adhered to, the legislative power of Parliament will be diminished. Quote, we have to take this seriously, or else our legislative authority is being taken away from us by other agencies and arms of government. That should be resisted by this House, or else your being here is of no consequence. The law is very clear on this. Do you agree with Mr. Speaker?
Well, to the extent that the legislative power of Parliament is enshrined in the Constitution, I believe in Article 106, it's very appropriate for him to seek to protect that power remaining in Parliament. But I'm not so sure whether the assertion that until the President assents to a bill, no other agency or institution can entertain any matter relating to that bill is right. Because you need to look at the circumstances and the facts that we are dealing with. Parliament has passed the bill.
So let me read exactly what it says.
Sure.
It says that let it be known that when it comes to lawmaking, until all the processes in this House are exhausted, there is no business for anybody, including the court, to consider, because the Constitution and the enabling legislation take care of all these challenges. So until it is a law and assented to by the President, the judiciary has no jurisdiction.
So nobody can challenge the procedure that Parliament is adopting. Nobody can bring any action until, of course, I mean, it's right that the judiciary's role is to interpret the law that has been passed by Parliament. But that's not the only function of the judiciary. It has wide powers, including powers of injunction.
Let me ask your view on something. Sure. In recent times, even with this case around LGBTQI, there were earlier suits before the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court's position, I'm summarizing, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, The Supreme Court's position was that it was premature for anybody to bring an action against Parliament because Parliament had not concluded the process. I think one of the persons,
Amanda Odoy,
yes, has sent an earlier case to the Supreme Court, and that was the court's view in dismissing that application.
At that point, what was happening? Parliament was actually deliberating on.
I think it was one of the bill.
We're in the second stage.
But that process has been exhausted. We've actually finished the debate. The consideration of the bill has been completed. Third reading has been done. It's the transmission to the presidency that somebody is seeking to stop.
Is that not part of your legislative function?
I'm not so sure whether the transmission, well, I should think that it should be part of it.
Yes.
But question then
because until you do that, you have not finished your work.
Well, Parliament has finished its work.
The transmission is Parliament's work, not so.
Well, that's administrative. I'm talking the chamber members of Parliament being the legislative body itself had finished its work.
But if you don't
after the third reader, so that's administrative. That's the work of the clerk.
Not the work of Parliament.
No, it's the work of the clerk. The clerk to Parliament. He carries the administrative function of moving the bill as has been passed to the office of the president. Okay, and that's what the interested parties are seeking to prevent.
And are you suggesting that that is not part of the legislative function of Parliament?
How is it so? Article 106 is clear, right?
Yeah.
So Parliament has finished its work. When the bill is laid, referred to the committee, first reading, second consideration, third reading is passed. The rest is administrative. But I'm saying that that in itself is within the purview of the court to make a determination whether that is an interference in the work of Parliament or not. So to suggest that
the Speaker says it is.
So who will make that determination? The Speaker? The Speaker cannot make that determination. It's the court. You made reference to the Amanda Odoy, right?
Yes, the earlier.
It's the court that made the determination that look, we cannot interfere in the work of Parliament. So let the Supreme Court make a determination on this application that Ghanaian citizens have brought before it. Is that not the proper thing to do?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's wait. So the talk really, what does it amount to? Okay. The Constitution vests the powers of interpreting our Constitution to the Supreme Court.
Rightly so.
Ghanaians have filed an application before it. It is for the Supreme Court to look at the merits of the case and say, look, this is part of the legislative function of Parliament, and so I cannot inject. But that process hasn't been concluded. So to suggest that that in itself amounts to the Supreme Court interfering, as if to say the Supreme Court Somutu brought the matter before itself, I disagree with the Speaker.
No, I guess the point the Speaker is making, I'm not sure he says that the Supreme Court can entertain a case.
But that's exactly what has happened. But he's interpreting the Supreme Court entertaining the case to mean interference.
No, what he's saying is that, I think what I read from what he's saying is that the legislative process ends with the president.
I don't have any difficulty.
To the bill.
I'm saying that
yes,
that process of moving the bill to the presidency by way of letter is administrative. Some people have gone to court to challenge that administrative process.
Yes.
The Supreme Court is enjoined to make a determination.
Yes.
It can come and say that, look, your action is premature, as it did in the Amanda Okai case that you made reference to. Or that, no, the process has ended and the Supreme Court can entertain or truncate the process or whatever.
Right.
But I think that just as he seeks to protect the legislature from interference, we cannot stifle the courts also from performing their functions. And so let the Supreme Court make a determination that yes, indeed, and in fact, this action that has been instituted by the parties involved is improper. It amounts to an interference in the legislative function which only the court can determine. So that we are all guided going forward as to whether in the future these things can happen, or that we ought to allow the process to be concluded with the president making a determination whether to return the bill to Parliament or refer it to the Council of State, right, or otherwise. But I do not fault the parties who believe that they have a right to bring such an application, an action and subsequent application before the Supreme Court from doing so. I do not fault them at all.
Right. So,
Randy.
And there was a development. I mean, I cannot lose sight of that fact. It's on the front page of the Daily Graphic.
Yeah, sure.
That in fact there was a development in the court yesterday. That the Speaker of Parliament pulled a surprise on the Supreme Court. This is a report filed by Emmanuel Ebo-Hoxton. Pulled a surprise on the Supreme Court yesterday when he informed the court about the existence of a financial impact analysis on the Human and Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, popularly known as the Anti-Gay Bill. The issue came up during the hearing of two applications seeking to restrain the Speaker from transmitting the bill to the President for his assent until the final determination of substantive suits challenging its constitutionality. And counsel for the Speaker, Thaddeus Sori, told the Apex Court that he had just received new information that his client indeed gave an opinion on the impact of the bill on the public purse and also caused a fiscal impact analysis to be conducted on the bill. Pursuant to Article 108 of the 92 Constitution, the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Mr. Sori therefore urged the court to allow him to file the new information as part of a defense by the Speaker. New information came to me after the court took a break. The Speaker's actual opinion has been found, as well as the fiscal impact analysis. I'll crave the court's indulgence to allow me to file this new information by tomorrow. However, Mr. Sori's request was vehemently opposed by the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dami, who described the move by the Speaker of Parliament to introduce the new information as an unfair surprise. He contended that the Speaker of Parliament never alluded to the fact that he gave an opinion on the bill or caused a financial impact analysis to be conducted on the bill when it was laid before Parliament 2 years ago. Again, the principal legal advisor to the government submitted that at all material times throughout the proceedings, the Speaker never made mention of the fiscal impact analysis or his opinion. This process by which the Speaker of Parliament is seeking to adduce this as evidence is very much unfair. Where has the evidence been all along? He has kept it to his bosom for 2 years when the bill was first introduced to Parliament. He now springs this as a surprise on all of us, the AG argued. And the CJ who presided over the 5-member panel was also not enthused about the timing for the introduction of a fiscal impact analysis and opinion on the Speaker on the bill. She says, I think you have to accept that this is very unfair. This case has been pending since last year, but you failed to introduce this information. Does it mean that researchers at Parliament are not that diligent? And she then directed the Council to file the new information in the substantive suits and not in the application for interlocutory injunction. The issue of whether or not the Speaker of Parliament gave an opinion on the financial impact bill would have on the consolidated fund, as well as causing a fiscal impact analysis to be conducted on the bill, are the heart of the suits challenging the constitutionality of the anti-gay bill at the Supreme Court. So we're told that the court says that July 17th, but this is what happened yesterday.
Yeah, I got to know about it yesterday.
Okay.
And it was really surprising that the Speaker of Parliament, who supports private members' bill, and rightfully so, indeed, it was Professor Michael Quay who sought to institutionalize the private members' bill regime, because in the past it wasn't something that was entertained, if you like. To have filed processes, legal representation in court, matter ripe for hearing when the expectation is that the matter is ripe for hearing when all processes have been filed. Knowing very well the criticality of this document that all of a sudden appeared in court yesterday, which in any event he was enjoined by the Constitution to have done before admitting the private members' bill, obviously should have been in his custody. It's surprising that it was never introduced in this matter until yesterday. And so I frankly do not see anything wrong with the decision of the Supreme Court, the AG's opposition, because the courts frown on surprise. It operates on the principle of full disclosure. And so whatever document that you seek to rely on ought to be disclosed, timeously, so that the opposing party can have opportunity to peruse it and to object or respond to matters that you raise in there before the matter is determined.
Mm-hmm.
But to wait when, if indeed he had the document, until yesterday when arguments had been taken, to now say, oh, the fiscal impact analysis that is at the root of the argument before this court, I now have it, so allow me to file. I think it was very unfair on the part of the Speaker and his counsel. In any event, I think that the court gave them an opportunity to then file it, so that the substantive matter itself, which then will give the parties an opportunity to respond, we can deal with this fiscal impact analysis document, as opposed to the interlocutory application stage, where arguments have been concluded and the court was about to set a time for delivering its ruling that this document was sprung before it.
So help me with something for the non-legal person. The position of the Attorney General, I'm talking about what will be decided by the court on July 17th. It's about the transmission of the bill to the President. The cease and desist matter, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the AG is on all fours with those who have filed a suit to say that...
I don't think so. The AG is a neutral party in this. He only filed a public interest response. Of course, he is the counsel to the state. And so these matters necessarily, he ought to be made a nominal defendant. And so he filed public interest, if you like. In some jurisdiction, they refer to it as amicus brief, okay, to guide the court with respect to his interpretation of the position. But he is not siding with any of the parties at all. That's my understanding of the processes that the Attorney General has undertaken so far.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sam.
Randy, thank you. This matter, for a while I've chosen not to talk about it because, I mean, it's before the courts and I've left it. But yesterday, the issue came up again because of the hearing. At the heart of the dual suit by Richard Delasky and Amanda Odoy are two articles of the Constitution, 106 and 108. Now, 106 is the heart of the injunction hearing that's been ongoing for about 2 months or 3 months now. We're expecting ruling on the 17th. 108 is at the heart of the substantive case that we haven't gone into. Now, the Attorney General is actually a respondent in the case. Because the respondents are the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General. Let me be clear that 106 of the Constitution is titled, the heading of 106, Mode of Exercising Legislative Power. So Randy, 106 basically talks about how Parliament can exercise its powers as the legislative arm of government. And it says, this is very interesting to read, 106.1. The power of Parliament to make laws shall be exercised by bills passed by Parliament and critically, and assented to by the President. So it means that the exercise of Parliament's legislative power is not just in passing the bill, but in getting the assent by the President. That is 106.1. I read again. The power of Parliament to make laws shall be exercised by bills passed by Parliament and assented to by the President. So that is the mode of exercising Parliament's legislative power. Then it proceeds to then break it down in 2 all the way to 6, how the committees will sit, what they can sit on, and all of that. Now, it then proceeds, because it had in 106.1 stated that Parliament's legislative power is not exercised either or, but end. The word used there is end, meaning both the passage of the bill and the assent by the president is what shows the executive power. It then gives you the scenarios where the president may seek, as the executive, to interfere in the exercise of legislative power. That is where the president decides not to assent to a bill that has been transmitted to him. So it then lets you know that until you have the assent of the president to a bill, the process is not completed. Because it says that when you pass the bill, send it to the president in 106.7, where a bill is passed by Parliament, where a bill passed by Parliament is presented to the president for assent, he shall signify within 7 days after the presentation to the Speaker that he assents to the bill or that he refuses to assent to the bill, unless the bill has been referred by the President to the Council of State under Article 90 of this Constitution. So it then means that the assent of the President is what then ends the legislative exercise of legislative power. The President can choose not to assent. It then means that Parliament's legislative power has not been exercised completely. Because then it then says that in the case where the president in 106.8, where the president refuses to assent the bill, he shall within 14 days after his refusal, state in a memo to the Speaker any specific provision. So he can't just carte blanche say, I refuse. He must then refuse with a memo to the Speaker stating the basis of which for his refusal. And it can't just be something extraneous to the bill. He must state what provisions of the bill he disagrees with. And then it doesn't end there. It says any specific provisions of the bill which in his opinion should be reconsidered by Parliament, including his recommendations for amendment. So it then means that when the president says, I don't assent to this bill, or I'm refusing to assent, within 14 days he must do a memo to the Speaker stating what is wrong with the bill.
So the point that you make is that from what you read,
yes,
the 6, the 7, and the 8,
yes,
Parliament's legislative function cannot be complete unless there's a presidential assent.
Yes.
Because in the event that the president refuses to assent, and he gives reasons, and he has issues with particular provisions,
yes,
Parliament will have to continue its work again.
That is captured in 106.9.
Yes.
Parliament shall reconsider a bill taking into account the comments made by the President or the Council of State.
So what it means is that if you read the entirety of 106,
yes,
until there's a presidential assent, the legislative work of Parliament is not complete.
It's not complete because the President, either on his own or upon the advice of the Council of State, can actually ask Parliament to reconsider portions of the bill.
So it is only when he is assented
that it's done.
Okay.
Then Parliament has no further work.
Right.
But until there is an assent, there is always room that second consideration, there will be another second consideration. And even with this bill, we did second consideration 3 times. We finished second consideration. The Speaker was about to go to third reading. And I came with my colleagues to ask for a second consideration, a second consideration. And we did it a third time. You understand me? So it's always possible to go back. And that's why, for me, I side on all fours with the Right Honourable Speaker. Because the Right Honourable Speaker is not speaking his mind. He is protecting the integrity of Parliament's constitutional powers. And that's why many of us hold the view that in the first place, the Supreme Court, with alacrity, ought to dismiss this case and not even entertain it, because we have not completed our work. The Supreme Court must bear in mind, the judiciary, the Chief Justice, must bear in mind that she is stopped by the Constitution from entering into the arena of Parliament. And Bobo rightly stated it, that the role of the judiciary is to interpret legislation that Parliament has passed or interpret the Constitution. Now, it's a different thing if the individuals have gone to court asking the court to interpret Article 106. That's a different matter. But they have gone to court asking the court to injunct the speaker from carrying out a constitutional mandate. And you see, Randy, Roxin Nelson Eche Dafiamepo carried out a similar action where he sought to get the courts to injunct Mr. Speaker, from having the House consider the nominations, the last nominations the president made, because in his view, people like Bobo, who moved from one position to another ministry, the president revoked the appointment. And so once he was renominating them, they ought to appear before the Appointments Committee of Parliament again. What was the determination by the Supreme Court in that matter? The Supreme Court ruled and said that they could not injunct or interfere in the workings of a constitutional body carrying out its constitutional mandated functions, and that Parliament is mandated by the Constitution to hear, vet, and approve nominees of His Excellency the President. Parliament, by the same Constitution, is mandated to transmit the work of Parliament, bills that have been passed by the House, to the President. But you see, Randy, and I do this with a lot of pain, the Attorney General, and I've said this before publicly, that the Attorney General is acting in a very dishonorable manner, in a manner unbecoming of one who occupies that office. The Attorney General is a respondent in this case. But in fact, the Attorney General, and I have stated without any equivocation, that the Attorney General himself has aided and abetted the plaintiffs in this case. In fact, some of the evidence they adduced could only have come from the AG's office. And so the Attorney General is hiding behind the plaintiffs. And that is why he's exposed himself in his own plea before the court. The story does not report that lawyers for Amanda Odoy or lawyers for Richie Delasky opposed lawyers for the Speaker when he tried to introduce the financial impact analysis report, which I know had been done before the bill was even accepted by the Speaker, because as part of the things that we did, a financial impact analysis was done. It is the AG who is a defendant, who is now opposing his colleague defendant. What is the AG defending? The people who have gone to court to seek the injunction are not the ones opposed to it. It is the AG who is opposed, but it lets you understand what this is all about.
Help me with this.
Yes.
If the issue of the financial impact analysis is at the heart of the suit,
the substantive suit.
Yes, if it's at the heart of the suit, how come that the Speaker has not made it a part of his documentation till date?
I made that point, that the substantive suit is on 108. And 108 deals with financial impact. Because
interlocutory application flows out of the substantive case.
But the interlocutory application, injunction application,
it flows out of the
106.
substantive case.
It is on transmission of the bill. You see, so the injunction is stop Parliament from transmitting the bill. Then the substantive case is not about transmitting of the bill. It is about the fact that the Speaker should not have accepted the bill because the bill imposes a charge. They're two different things. I don't know if you get the argument.
So if that were the case,
yes,
why did the lawyer for the Speaker
introduce this?
Bring it up in court?
I have no idea why he's introducing
it. Yeah, because
I can't speak to his legal strategy.
Because why the AG and the CJ had issues with it was that, I mean, why do you? Because the lawyer says, according to the report, I was in court. Yes. According to the report, the lawyer says that his attention has just been drawn to this by his client, the Speaker.
Yeah, because I'm sure
so
that
he
the
needs
Speaker
permission.
To prepare him for
so he needs permission to file it today. No, and that is on that basis that the AG then says that this is an unfair surprise.
It is not in the place of the AG.
Why?
He's a defendant in the case. He's being sued. If the AG, if his real position.
No, but we all know that the president's position on the matter is that
he doesn't want it.
Cease and desist. So let's not pretend that we do not know that.
No, and that's why I'm saying that the AG is behaving.
The president's position is that let the matter before the court.
Because the AG has said to me And listen, Randy, I make this point without any equivocation because he, the AG, Godfred Dami, told me to tell the media that he was in full support of the bill. In fact, Godfred Dami delayed this bill, and maybe I haven't said this before, he delayed this bill in Parliament for 1 year. The Committee of Parliament wrote to Godfred Dami in October, I think 15th of October, 2022, to bring us his memo. Godfred Dami submitted his memo on the 18th of October 2023. We had to wait for him 1 year. 1 whole year we waited for Godfred Dami. And when he came, all the issues he raised, we showed him how the committee and the sponsors had addressed all of those issues. And at the meeting, I asked him a question. When I asked him the question, the chairman of the committee, Honorable Ayimedu, told him not to answer, that it was a leading question, and that I was up to mischief. And Godfred Dami responded to Honorable Ayimedu and said, no, it is not a mischievous question. I want to respond. And I want some judge to quote me in the public. My question to him was, so AG, are you comfortable with the bill in its current shape and form with all the amendments we've made, such that your advice to His Excellency the President will be to sign the bill into law if Parliament passes it, because now you are happy with it? He said, Sam George, read my lips. Your bill is a good addition to our legal jurisprudence, because issues in the Criminal Offences Act that deal with homosexuality are actually an affront of the Constitution, because they don't deal with females. It is only dealing with males, so it's discriminatory. And so your bill, this was Godfred Dami, your bill actually levels the playing field. And so I am in full support of your bill, and my advice to the President will be to accede to it with alacrity, because Sam George, I support you. So go and call the media and tell them, because the previous week I had criticized him for delaying the bill. Godfred Dami said this on record. So I'm saying to you that Godfred Dami, again, like we've seen in the Japa case, is speaking from both sides of his mouth, where in one breath he says that he supports the bill, in another breath he advises the President not to sign the bill, and now is in court acting as an impediment and leaking documents to Amanda Odoy and Richie Delasky. Such despicable character and behavior should not be found with an office holder of the high office of Attorney General.
Sam George, I would ask you to withdraw that.
That it is despicable that he's leaking documents.
That's extremely harsh and unfair. Withdraw that.
Let me be clear. I'm not saying I won't. I just want to be clear. Yes. Are you saying that it is not despicable character for the Attorney General to leak documents?
I'm saying that you're making allegations that I'm not in a position to substantiate. So to proceed to use those words against him are very unfair.
I withdraw despicable, but I think it's dishonorable. That you are comfortable with.
I'm not.
It's very dishonorable, Randy. Because you see, an honorable person must be a man of integrity whose words you can take to the bank. Mm-hmm. But if you say one thing to your colleague man, and your word is not born, Randy, if you tell me today that Sam, go to your constituency. He was talking about rain damaging things. Rain has damaged the oldest police station in Ghana. The oldest police station in Ghana is in Prampram, Lower Town. Yesterday, their roof got ripped. The police commander sent it to me. Yeah, that's the first police station in Ghana. It's in Prampram, Lower Town, the charge office. I've had my guys go there. But if today...
It's off the roof.
Yeah, it's the rain. So I've asked my guys to go and work on it. But Randy, if you told me, Sam, from this show, go to your constituency, you get roofing sheets, I'll believe. You know why? You're a man of your word. When I became MP in 2017, 3 months into being MP, roofs of schools in my constituency got ripped. I came on your show and complained about it. And after the show, you told me, Sam, I will send you roofing sheets as my support. And you did. So your word is born. I take your word. I trust your word. I can't trust Godfred Dami's words. And so that's why I say you are an honorable man. I can't say the same about him. Because his action and character is unfortunate. But for me, I think that where the speaker stands is supported by the Constitution. Because if today the President has not received a bill from Parliament, how do you say we've completed our job? How is the Supreme Court going to interpret something that is not law? And that's why even yesterday, in a similar matter, when our
the Supreme Court is being asked to interpret perhaps a position that, and I hope I'm not being unfair to Ejapa, a position that Ejapa gives me the impression he holds, that the legislative work of Parliament is done. to the extent that you have approved.
Well, that's
you don't get what I'm saying.
I do. I agree.
The position of the speaker, as I read, and which is what the speaker is saying, is that until the presidential assent is obtained, the legislative work is not done. Because if the president refuses to accept, and he gives his reasons as the Constitution says he should do, and even has issues with portions of the bill, Parliament is expected to work again on those things. So it is only the accent by the president which ends the process.
And in fact, 1061 is clear on it.
So therefore, you have a situation where, and I hope I'm correct or I'm not wrong, you have a situation where there are some citizens of the Republic who believe that the legislative work of Parliament is done. And the transmission, as Japa is saying, is administrative, is not part of their work. And so it is up to the Supreme Court to now say that, hey, the legislative work of Parliament, as we understand per 106.1 and all that, ends with the presidential accent. So the transmission is still part of that legislative function. So you cannot injunct them.
Yes, and I think that eventually is what the Supreme Court will have to determine.
Thank you.
But the point I'm making is that we have precedents from the Supreme Court.
Yes.
With the Roxanne Dafiamepo case.
Yes.
Where they said we cannot injunct a constitutional body from carrying out its constitutional function. It's the constitutional function of Parliament to carry out legislative exercises. Yes.
In fact, the transmission is part of it.
It's part of it.
In fact, that is why in the suit, the issue of the transmission is the speaker who's being sued.
Yes, not
the
Parliament and not the clerk. Yeah. It's not Parliament as a body. It is not the clerk. It is the speaker himself. You understand me? And so it's important that, and I've restricted myself to the 106 part because the fiscal impact analysis document now begins to speak to the substantive case as to
we'll get there later.
Yes. Because 108 says that the person presiding. So we'll get into all of that. But I will wait to see how the Supreme Court is going to rule this case, given all the precedents that they have set. You know, not just in the Ejapa case, but even with Amanda Odoi, where during the second consideration stage, she went to get an injunction to injunct Parliament from carrying out.
But it wasn't granted.
That's what I'm saying. That Randy, I'm saying that I'm giving you the precedents that has been set on by the Supreme Court in the last 1 year on the functions of Parliament.
Right.
I'm saying that Roxanne's case, they said they couldn't injunct Parliament. In Amanda Odoi, the same Amanda Odoi, when she went to Parliament, to the Supreme Court, whilst we were in the second consideration stage, they said Parliament is carrying out its legislative function. So they threw it out. I'm saying that, again, we will come to the heart of it, is the transmitter and approval or accent by the president or otherwise. Does it form the basis of Parliament's exercise of its legislative function? I hold the view that 1061 settles the matter. But we'll wait to hear what the Supreme Court will say.
Okay. Ejapa, you want to say something?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
You see, I'm surprised that some judge is going on the tangent of castigating the character of the Attorney General, making statements to the effect that he is dishonorable, he's not a man of his word, and all that. Of course, only you, the Attorney General, and your God can determine the truth or otherwise of the confirmation that he made to you, that go out there and speak and quote him. I wasn't there. Randy wasn't there. It's only you and him. So I leave it to you yourself to make a determination on that. I've tried to reach him to confirm, but I'm sure he probably is caught up in the middle of something that hasn't responded. But you see, Randy, this issue, as far as I'm concerned, is very simple. And the Constitution makes the lawmaking function essentially dual. Parliament performs a part of it, and the presidency performs, the executive performs a part of it. Okay? And I'm not worried about whether the legislative function has been concluded or not. A Ghanaian citizen has brought an action. And by the way, for the record, I was on a committee Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. I'm still a member of the committee. The reconstitution hasn't been
we haven't done
yet. The bill was supported unanimously by both sides of the committee. Okay, when it was tabled on the floor, we all contributed significantly towards its passage. And it was passed unanimously.
But your Bible says that Sam George is indirectly asking me for more roofing sheets.
Mark, you are in the spirit. You are in the spirit. Mark is a sharp guy.
In fact, I will.
Thank you
for the police
for your people
station.
of Pram. We are grateful. We are grateful, Randy. God bless you. On behalf of the chiefs and people of Pram, where you ran away from being chief, we say we are grateful. We say we are grateful to you.
You have to bring that. Yes.
Randy, so let it not be suggested that some people, especially on the majority side, are opposed to the bill.
Oh, I haven't
okay,
said
yeah, you haven't.
I haven't said that about the majority.
I'm saying that.
I've spoken about that.
Yeah, and
for the avoidance of doubt.
The Attorney General's opinion.
For the avoidance of doubt, you want to make
absolutely,
it clear.
Yes, the Attorney General's opinion was clear.
Before the fisher folks chase the man out.
Okay, the Attorney General's opinion was clear when he attended upon the committee. His contribution in making the bill, okay, worthy of going through the processes for passage is well documented. Right? But here is a case where some individual Ghanaian citizens have gone to court. We say we believe in the principles of rule of law. It seems to me that we are sometimes selective. When it suits us, then we believe in it. When it doesn't suit us, then we complain. Because otherwise, the right to go to court is enshrined in the Constitution. They believe that it is appropriate for them to stop the transmission of the bill to the presidency for him to either assent or refuse to assent. And so they've gone to court and sought an injunction. The matter hasn't been determined. It is only the Supreme Court that has the power to make a determination on this subject matter. The court is going through the motions of dealing with it. Yet people are crying foul. It's as if to say that when the suit was filed, because people want the bill to be passed by all means, or for the president to take a decision on it one way or the other, the court should overlook the action that has been filed before it. Is that what we are suggesting? If that's not our suggestion, then really, what's the issue? Randy, if that's not our suggestion, and that we believe that people have rights under Article 2, I believe, of the Constitution, to bring a matter that they believe ought to be determined by the Supreme Court to court. Let them go through the motions. So the suggestion that the judiciary is actually interfering cannot be borne out by the facts. Because they have a function to perform as well. By determining the matter that has been brought to the Supreme Court. And indeed, you confirm that on previous occasions, the Supreme Court has determined that it cannot interfere in the workings of Parliament. So why are you not allowing it to make the determination in this case as well? Why drag them into this needless debate, if you ask me? Allow them, eminent justices, to do their work. After all, they've ruled on previous occasions. And so if the legislative function is seamless and ought to go through from the legislature to the presidency as is provided for in Article 106, let the court make a determination that your action is seeking to interfere in the work of Parliament and you cannot do so. And is that not a proper thing to do? So why don't we exercise patience and await the outcome of whatever it is that the Supreme Court is going to decide? Two legs. The interlocutory application which really is born out of the substantive case. Because all that they are seeking to say is that, look, if you do not stop them, we would suffer irreparable damage or harm if the matter goes through without you injuncting them. That's all that the people are seeking to do. And so, really, the issue that ought to concern us is why the speaker and his lawyer did not file the processes as part of their case for the court to have the full complement of the documents relating to the matter to make a determination of the interlocutory application. In any event, doesn't even go to the root of the substantive matter. So there's no deprivation. Nobody is being prevented from pursuing their case. So I will urge some of these things. Yes, I know the emotions that are involved, but let's be cautious, restrain ourselves a little bit in allowing the processes to work. 17th July is not far off. The Supreme Court would decide, and of course the substantive matter will be determined, and we'll know whether the presidency ought to receive the documents, the bill, and deal with it, or that indeed and in fact Parliament ought to cease and desist until the matter is determined.
Randy, yes. I pray we don't get to the scenario playing in my head.
Which is
but
what?
I would love to see an attempt by the judiciary to seek to gag Parliament from exercising its oversight its legislative function, and Parliament calling the bluff of the judiciary. And let us see them cite the Speaker for contempt. You see, Randy, we must get to that place where and
this conjecturing is not helpful.
No, wait, let me tell you something.
It's not.
Bobo,
it's completely
I think we're getting to a place where
we are not getting anywhere.
The judiciary in our country.
We haven't gotten anywhere.
Bobo, when you were speaking, I was quiet though.
Don't do stuff like this.
The judiciary in our country
doesn't help.
Seems to be overreaching, especially with the legislative arm. And it's simply because the legislative arm has sat down and allowed the executive to literally overreach into the legislature. And we have a legislature that, until this parliament, given the situation of this parliament, was basically seen as a rubber stamp parliament for the executive. The judiciary is taking a cue from it. You had a situation where it will be found offensive for a member of parliament not to refer to a judge by their official title. Meanwhile, the judiciary had or found it expedient to determine that members of parliament are not worthy of bearing our title.
I don't understand what you're saying.
The comment that the former Chief Justice made.
Yes.
So far,
which comment?
That the honorable member of parliament for. I can't recall exactly.
Mama Yariga's case. She said she would not refer to him as the honorable member of parliament.
Because I am told that.
But it's not a title to your person.
I'm told that the title, in fact, the issue of the honorable, it's how you MPs are expected to address yourselves in the House.
Of course.
It is not about us. It's you people who have now transferred the thing to us to the extent that now, even if your banks don't add honorable to your name or your checkbook, you are upset.
No, Randy, you see, let's not belittle the issue.
I don't even use honorable.
What do you think? Do you think the judges will allow us?
Are you aware of what I just said?
Yes.
That is supposed to be how you address
it is a title for the office you hold, and you refer to your honorable colleague member.
Yeah. Yes.
So the honorable member for so and so forth.
So I'm not even supposed to
you don't have
address you as honorable Mesa or honorable. It's just out of.
I actually prefer the Bobo that you don't need to be.
But Randy, I think I'm called Jata more than I've ever been called any other thing in this country. I don't have a problem with it. But you see, the point I'm making here is this: is that
they're going to export you to Malaysia under the 24-hour economy.
It's not a problem. I've seen your mission on social media, and I've chosen to ignore you on social media, and I ignore you here. I take it as wind that just blew. Randy, the point I'm making here is that we need to the legislature has to stamp its foot down and let the judiciary know that it should not overstep its bounds.
So I was saying to one of my colleagues in Parliament that they should tell me the number of lions that have been imported. So I import a helicopter to do the feeding at night.
You are tourism minister.
Yes.
Before he buys the helicopter, he should ask his colleague the minister who he is with now where the sky trains are.
So
at least nobody has taken our taxpayers' money, but Skytrain will pay $2 million for Skytrain.
You see, of course, I mean that's just on the later side. You see, I'm not too comfortable with trying to give the dog a bad name and hanging it. Because really, what has the judiciary done relative to this matter or any other matter that has gone before it? They don't initiate cases on their own. People take the cases to court, and it's their duty to make a determination.
To dismiss frivolous cases with a lack.
Dismiss frivolous cases. Who makes the determination as to the frivolity or otherwise? The case.
They ought to. And that's why I said with alacrity.
And so you think that this is frivolous because it's your bill that is an issue?
It's not about it being my bill. It's about
no, you are the sponsor of the bill.
It's about
is that it?
The entirety of Parliament's powers.
What power of Parliament has been infringed upon?
The power to transmit a bill.
But is it the court that has sought to
infringe the court? But let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. Oxygen by delaying this process.
How was it given its oxygen?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Okay. So there is a dispute between Parliament and the executive, because the executive has refused to allow a transmission of a bill to it and has written to Parliament not to do so. Okay.
Based on? You cannot take the basis out.
No, I'm just saying that.
Because that's the foundation.
No. Let us state for the fact.
No, I'm asking the question. Would you allow me to?
The cease and desist letter was written a whole 24 hours before the court suit.
Can you allow
No, that
me?
must be put on record.
Can you allow me?
If he's coming in, let's put
can
on
you
record.
allow me?
That tells you that the Supreme Court...
No, if you listen to me, you will not have issues. I'm saying that there is a dispute.
I will sponsor your export to Malaysia.
Don't worry.
There's a dispute between the legislature and the executive over what the legislature believes an interference in its legislative work. The executive also believes that the legislature is not also observing time-tested precedents, because the president referred to the fact that when there are cases before court, everybody seizes everything around it and all that. Okay. So clearly, we saw the president's position on it. We heard Mr. Speaker's position on it. There is a disagreement. The judiciary is called upon to now make an interpretation which will give us clarity, assuming there is no clarity on the matter. Okay. Why I'm asking, so now this is the question.
Yeah, sure.
Now, is this not a matter which is so important that in other situations where the judiciary has decided that they will even sit daily and regularly to dispatch those matters, shouldn't this be a matter which should engender that kind of alacrity in dealing with it?
Well, you can argue that way. I don't have any issue.
No, I'm just asking because as somebody who sits at the back, I'm looking at I look at, for example, the judiciary's disposition in the issues. The speed, the alacrity, the focus and all that. And I am comparing that, juxtaposing that against this one, where you now see the president and the speaker, or the legislature and the executive, and they've been called upon to interpret something. Because in the course of this matter, in the course of this issue, there could be many other legislations by Parliament which could suffer the same fate as a result of the fact that this one has not been determined.
In fact, Randy, if I may.
No, I asked him.
Okay.
I needed him to give me the answer first because he was speaking about
the work of the judiciary. The so-called clash itself, I think it's unwarranted in my view. Okay, because the presidency is not in the habit of writing to the speaker merely out of 10. They had bases that have been set with a particular rate. So please hold off until the matter is determined. Because obviously when it gets to him, it's either he's injuncted or he has to proceed with the provisions as enshrined in 106 by either assenting to or sending it to the Council of State or returning it by way of memo to the Speaker with whatever provisions that it disagrees or not. But we haven't even gotten there, right? Obviously, the Speaker was not happy that the President had written to say that because of the rate that had been filed, which as far as I'm concerned, should have been taken as okay. After what's the agency relating to this matter?
Is it an issue of urgency or what?
We've taken 3 years already.
No, I'm saying that
dealing with this bill. So it can't wait another month.
What would have happened to the president or the presidency if they had received the bill and written to written to Parliament to say that yes, we have received this. However, because of ABCD, we're unable to give access.
That's an option. It's an option.
Is that not the option that the Constitution prescribes?
The Constitution does not prescribe an option where you are served with an injunction or an application to stop the passage of the bill, okay, because it doesn't meet in the view of the applicant's certain threshold. There's no provision to that
I thought
effect.
that the Constitution rather provides for the president if he has any reason.
Yes, but the president hasn't said he has any reason.
No, but his reason is what he had
So
used
I'm
in the
saying
letter.
I'm saying that this is a third-party action that has been initiated and served on both parties. President says, well, you haven't brought it. Hold it until the matter is determined.
No,
then you bring it
President
to me.
says that you have been making attempts to serve
Yes,
me.
of course, yes. Yes,
Stop
because at the time, I believe that we were at a cabinet retreat in Pediasi also when we came back. Then the secretary was informed that Clark has been trying to serve you with this process. He says, oh, because we have been served, write to him and tell him that this is the position. So
If you
hold off.
stop attempting
So
to
I'm
give it
saying
to
that,
him.
yeah, so hold off until the matter is determined. Okay, he aroused all sorts of emotions, which as far as I'm concerned was completely unnecessary. Okay, but that's matter that's gone under the bridge. But I'm saying that this heightened tension, supposedly, really, as far as I'm concerned, is neither here nor there. Because the matter will be determined some way, somehow. You make reference, I haven't seen or heard that the applicants have filed for an expeditious hearing, as in the case that you make reference to Jachikwe, the elections petition, that's the regulations that deal with the elections that says that the court must sit and determine the matter within a certain time frame. So those are statutory. Any other case would be determined per the calendar of the Supreme Court. It cannot be treated extra with any extra special treatment merely because somebody feels that this one is there. Because everybody's matter, as far as they are concerned, is urgent.
All right. Okay.
Randy, you see, this attempt to make it look like one is trying to play up the judiciary against the legislature. I mean, I don't know if you are the master of videos. I don't know if you have the video of President Akufo-Addo speaking about.
Pockets are similar.
Yeah, yes. But tell your wife to stop distracting the show. She's my very good friend.
It means that the man was in his library all night working on tourism bills. So, but Madam didn't have enough of him.
You know, if, I don't know if you have the your team or you have the video of Justice of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, then Attorney General, speaking on the conduct of then Justice Afre of the court when Justice Afre spoke against President Kufuor's attempts to introduce the Fast Track High Court. If you listen to that and what I've done here, you realize I've been very charitable to the judiciary. Yet to celebrate President Akufo-Addo, so don't play those games here. But you see, Randy, you rightly point out the fact that there is a clash. There's a huge clash between the judiciary. And, you know, the Speaker is very magnanimous. I must give him that. Because I rose on the floor of the House and made a request of the Speaker that Parliament should also issue a cease and desist to the Executive Secretary of the President to stop the President from sending either nominations or notices of his travel to Parliament. We should also issue a cease and desist to him. If the president thinks he has a cease and desist power on Parliament, Parliament should do same to the president. So no document from the executive, Bobo's bills, anything from the government, we would also issue a cease and desist. Because, I mean, it's fair game. But you see, because the speaker is very magnanimous, he said to me that he appealed that we do not go into that arena. But imagine where we would have been. And that's why it would be considered prudent for the Supreme Court to have acted in an expeditious manner on this matter. But Randy, let us be very clear for the records. Bobo says that the cease and desist was issued because of the pendency of an injunction. That is not true. It's a lie.
It's a lie because...
On the day the letter was written, if my memory serves me right, it's either the 5th of March or something, or the 4th of March. On the day Bedioto wrote that letter, that is an affront and an insult to the 1992 Constitution, ordering Parliament to cease and desist, which is a power that does not reside in the Executive Secretary to the President. There was no suit before the courts of our land. There was no injunction before any court, be it in Ghana or Guyana. And so it is incorrect, it is untrue that cease and desist was issued because there was a court case. But it goes to expose that there's Executive Secretary to the President at the very least, and I will not extend it to the President because I have no such evidence. But it is safe to suggest that the President will know the actions of his Executive President, had knowledge that a case was going to be filed. How would he know that 2 private citizens were going to file an injunction if he was not behind the injunctions? So let us be clear. There was no basis for that cease and desist. It was unconstitutional. It was an attempt to overthrow and usurp the 1992 Constitution by the Executive Secretary of the President. Then Executive Secretary, I hear now he's Ambassador at Large. You know? But if this was a serious republic, the Executive Secretary, then Executive Secretary Nana Santi Bedioto, will have serious questions to answer for that letter.
Executive Secretary.
He's not yet become an Ambassador at Large, or he's holding both. Okay. He has serious questions to answer. And Parliament should have summoned him to appear before our privileges committee, because his actions are a clear contempt of Parliament.
All right, we need to go. But the strike of clock-sag, is it affecting work at your ministry? Or your
yesterday they are. Yesterday morning, I went to the office briefly and then headed for Jubilee House for my meeting.
Cabinet,
I didn't go back. So I'm yet to know whether... but I'm going back to work.
My appeal to them is that those who clean his toilet shouldn't go there. They shouldn't. He must pay the price. He and his government, they must pay the price.
Has he told you he won't be able to clean it himself?
If he has them, why is he paying people salary for that? Why are they paying people salary for that?
They're creating jobs.
They need to take care of the needs of Clocksag. Clocksag has been begging for its barest minimum. I mean, how can you be so wicked and heartless? Because Randy, look at how hard the country is. Remember the last time I read to you the price changes? I was talking. Wait, let me talk. Let me finish.
Don't
you can't
put out.
bully me.
Don't
you
put out.
bullied me as your big brother, as my big brother.
You're my little brother, so you have to.
But why? But you know, being my big brother means you die before me.
It doesn't matter. I will go and prepare a place for you like this. Randy, you see, the Clocksag issue, my understanding is that they are asking to opt out of the single spine.
Really?
Yes.
That's your understanding.
They said there's a new salary structure,
which
was approved by the Fair Wages and Salary Commission. And they are asking for the implementation of that. It says after 1.5 years since an MOU was reached. So an MOU was reached 18 months ago on a new salary structure. 18 months on, it
separate
has not been...
from the single spine.
No, the salary structure would be within the single spine.
So they said they signed the MOU 18 months ago. The implementation has not taken effect. So that's what they're asking for.
Let me explain to you how you can have a new salary structure within a single spine. at times they do what they call rationalization. So they realize that you were maybe on grade point, people of this particular job description were on grade point 42. Now they move them up to 47. So it's a new structure. So now everybody who maybe is a stenographer grade 2 is no longer on grade point 42 with its attendance salary and benefits, but is now placed on 47. So every union goes to renegotiate movement on it. So within the structure. So
that was my understanding.
So it's not a new.
The MOU was signed 18 months ago.
Okay. And once the employment ministry signed it, it means that with Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, they had agreed and accepted that these changes should happen. And Bobo, if you look at what was happening in 2016, where your sanitary pad was 250 pesos, and today your sanitary pad is 18.
It's okay to make that comparison, but you have
a difficulty. If you've signed that you will give them an increase for 18 months, and you're not giving to them.
It's okay to make that comparison, but to be fair, you have to go back to 2000 and 2001 and 2000 and
that is for your party's research thing to do.
And 2000,
I've done my research.
When you were coming to power, how much the prices of the items that you list were.
So
that we all can know.
Let me say happy birthday to the only female on the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association, Mrs. Dr. Gifty Owari Mensah. She's also the deputy head at the National Service Scheme.
Yes.
So today is Dr. Gifty Owari Mensah. Mrs. Today is her birthday. So happy birthday to you. She's the only female on the ESCO of the GFA.
Okay. I think she has a football club called Berry Ladies or something.
Yes.
Happy birthday to her. But Randy, you know, blood sugar medication. Blood sugar medication, because a lot of people are suffering from diabetes.
Okay.
Foxiga 5 milligram. In 2016, it was 70 Ghana cedis. Today, it is 840 Ghana cedis.
Right.
So if a CLOSAG member needs his increase to be able to buy diabetes medicine,
I agree the prices of commodities.
Up next is Metro Sports.
And on Fridays, you can even get extra special rewards like food vouchers, shopping discounts, and much more.
Papa didn't tell me anything. Would you like to know how I got the name Jolly J?
That won't be necessary, Mr. Jolly. Calling customer care service doesn't give you points.
I'm gonna call my mom, I'll call my grandma, and I'll call my ex. That girl can talk, Papa. Hello, Mama. So what's the topic for today?
MTN.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Customer, I don't know who to say.
Malaria been actually me, man. No more drama, still.
One give us.
Give us a solid.
Yeah. Sorry. What rest of so give us here and turn down.
What's a good answer? But tomato give us the and turn down.